This is Starr 103.5 FM.
Amazing radio. Yeah!
It's 12 o'clock. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Starr Midday News. And coming up in the bulletin, former UN advisor on governance, Professor Bafwa Jimandia, calls for reforms in processes required for the removal of heads of constitutional bodies like the EC and OSP, describing it as too simplistic in the wake of former Special Prosecutor Martin Abidu's petition to remove his successor, Kisi Ejabing.
Because if all it takes is for someone to write a petition to a president, and the president simply becomes, to quote, a conveyor belt. If all it takes is for someone to write a petition to a president, and the president simply becomes, to quote, a conveyor belt, to just give it to the Chief Justice, and for the Chief Justice to empanel people to... That is so simple for such individuals at these high levels.
Also in the bulletin, EC cautions temporary staff deployed in the ongoing limited registration exercise not to breach electoral laws following the registration of 17 applicants with fake Ghana card numbers in Pusiga. And still ahead in the bulletin, PIAC reveals Ghana's crude oil production has declined for the fourth consecutive year at an annual average rate of 9.2%. We'll bring you more. And later on, founder and presiding Archbishop of the Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, cautions politicians against underestimating the capabilities of Ghanaians. Details of these stories and many more coming up shortly. Stay tuned in. Star News is coming to you live on Ultimate 106.9 FM in Kumasi, Empire 102.7 FM in Takrady, Zeps 95.9 FM in Zebila, Nissim 100.1 FM in Lamshao, My Star Radio in the USA. Also live on Facebook on Star 103.5 FM and on starfm.com.gh around the world. This is Star 103.5 FM. Star News. Informed, in depth, in touch. You're welcome once again to the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. We are coming to you live from our studios at the Platinum Place in Accra. My name is Naa Dedei Tettey. To the details of our stories now, and former UN advisor on governance, Professor Bafwa Jimandia, is calling for reforms in processes required for the removal of heads of constitutional bodies like the Electoral Commission and the Office of the Special Prosecutor in the wake of former Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu's petition to remove his successor, Kisi Ejabing, from office. Now, the former Attorney General filed the petition against Kisi Ejabing on the grounds of procurement breaches in the purchase of vehicles for the Office of the Special Prosecutor and abuses involving judges and administration of justice as part of his call for Mr. Ejabing's impeachment. Now, per the 1992 Constitution, if the President receives a petition of such nature, he shall refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall determine whether there is a prima facie case. But Professor Bafwa Jimandia believes this process is too simplistic and must be made more stringent. He spoke on GH1 TV's State of Affairs with Francis Aban last night.
I'm not surprised at all the backlash Mr. Martin Amudu is getting from the public. I've read a few comments that are not charitable at all for him. because, he held that position, and we know him to someone with some principles and very strong in his right hand and all. But if you look at Mr. Kwesi Agyeman, clearly he seems to be standing firm on certain principles in that office. When I recall his interview on Joy some time ago, and more importantly, a press conference that he held to tell the public his anguish over the challenges that he's facing in his attempts to proceed with certain cases. It's clear that he's encountering serious block by the state. So if this person is demonstrating that ability to execute his mandate, why do you say that he must be sacked because he's done ABC, 6 things that you listed? That surprises me a bit. And also, Mr. Amidu is very close to this issue. And I wouldn't think it's any sour grapes, but I think his penchant for writing these epistles are well known. But to get to the president that, Mr. President, fire him because ABCD, following the same track as somebody followed to get rid of the previous Electoral Commission chairperson.
That's what I'm Charlotte to say.
Yes. Again, that also raised some very interesting issues about this whole process of displacing top public officials. Because if all it takes is for someone to write a petition to a president and the president simply becomes, to quote, a conveyor belt to just give it to the Chief Justice and for Chief Justice to empanel people to... That is so simple for such individuals at these high levels. So I think we have to look again at how we handle such cases. If in fact they are done wrong, I think the process should be better than what we have. Not one individual simply presenting petitions and president routinely forwarding it to the Chief Justice.
You heard there Professor Bafo Agyeman. He added that should it happen that Kwesi Agyeman, the successor of the first occupant of the office of the Special Prosecutor, Martin Amidu, resigned from office, then the establishment of the office would have been an ultimate failure and an indictment on President Akufo-Addo, who birthed the concept as a means to fight graft.
The 3 or 4 years that we have had it, I haven't seen any difference in terms of our fight towards corruption, our fight against corruption. I haven't seen any big fish being caught and being prosecuted yet. So why is the use to be spending millions of cedis or dollars to maintain an office as elaborate as this one, as expensive as this one, and yet getting no results?
What would your advice be? Close it down or reform to make it work?
Well, I think we need to strengthen the existing, or we can close it down and strengthen the existing structures.
What would you go for?
If the powers given to the OSP can be strengthened and be made independent, that office, without any obstacles from the judiciary side or the state side, then why not? Because we want an effective way of combating corruption. Because we all accept that corruption is ruining the country. And so if we have ways of combating it, why not? It's been with us for all these years. It seems like we are at our wit's end. We don't know where to go. That's why they created the OSP. And yet, as I say, give me an evidence that it has yielded one result that all of us can be proud of.
And this is a big if. If a prima facie case is filed against Mr. Kwesi Agyeman, would you expect him to still stay on in the office and fight it through, or should he resign?
Oh, my goodness. If a prima facie case is established by the Chief Justice, then who is he to fight it? No, it will be needless to fight it. He's a lawyer, and I think he may contest it even before the pronouncement is made. So if he contests and he fails, then there's no point saying no. So I think this will have to leave to the lawyers. But I think he appears to me to be a person of integrity, and therefore he will advise himself the best possible way.
Again, I'm still talking if here. If he resigns, who is the biggest loser in this? The state or the president?
The one who appointed him will be the biggest loser because he saw the need and he found his own person, and if this could not work for him, then who else? And where do we go from here?
And considering that the first person who occupied the office also resigned and made allegations against him.
Well, then I guess if it happens again, then I guess there'll be no need for that office at all. There'll be no need. If 2 people came and they couldn't perform and all of them have to cut and run, then what is the use?
You heard the former UN advisor on governance, Professor Bafo Agyeman. This is the Starr Midday News on Star 103.5 FM, coming to you live from our studios at the Platinum Place in Accra. Let's move on and talk about other issues. And the member of the Defense and Interior Committee of Parliament, Peter Lanchene-Tobu, has stated that the unprecedented number of protocol recruitment into the Ghana Police Service, aided by the governing NPP, is worrying. The Wild West MP was speaking on the back of the Minority in Parliament's presser, where they sounded the alarm over what they say is a secret recruitment of NPP elements into the security services. Now, according to the NDC MPs, their majority colleagues have been given 30 slots to fill with party members. Now, speaking to the issue on the Morning Star with Francis Aban, the West MP urged the IGP to immediately address the protocol recruitment menace so he does not go down in history as the worst IGP ever.
I have been a police officer before. I've served in the police for 25 years. I've worked with 3 inspectors general of police as executive secretary. So when we talk about policing, whether it's administrative, operational, strategic, I understand what I talk about. We are talking about empowering the police in our democracy, strengthening the police, making the police more professional. And it has to start with intake, garbage in, garbage out. What you put in is what you will get during the practical aspect of your job. So when you get quality people and you put them in, if you recruit quality people and train them well, you expect to have professionalism dominating the policing environment. Over the years, we've had challenges with protocol recruitment. And this year, what we are hearing and what we are seeing is quite disturbing. And I felt that I owe it a duty to Mother Ghana to speak out and write directly to the IGP, cautioning him as a brother that please don't go down history as the worst IGP. Should you allow this to happen? Or should you promote this? This is unpolice-like. What are we talking about? There is a standard template in police recruitment. And that standard template says, do needs assessment first. If you finish with the needs assessment, consult the Minister of Finance. So if your assessment says we need 10,000 police officers, for example, in 2024, the Minister of Finance comes to say, I can only take the bill of 5,000 of them. What it means, you run with the 5,000. And when you run with the 5,000, you come and tell the Ghanaian people, I want to recruit 5,000 new hands into the police. Make it public, advertise it. Let it be everywhere, from Axim to Elubo. If you look at the political capital of state institutions, institutions are dying for a democracy. Probably the politician decides that, look, we are going to take 5,000. And we are bringing you the 5,000 names. From where? Oh, we have just shared it. Oh, party chairman bring 5. Parliamentary candidate bring 30. Okay? And they'll put them together. And that is the new way of the new normal of recruitment. What you do is that you create a partisan police, and they will destroy the spirit and soul of the nation.
You had the Wild West MP, Peter Lanchene-Tobu, but the governing NPP says the claims of the minority MPs in Parliament are untrue, I beg your pardon. Now, they are asking the minority to provide proof to back the allegations. Here's the Director of Communications for the governing NPP, Richard Ahiagba, who spoke to our sister station GH1 Television earlier.
Yes, I came on to say that it's a plot. That it's a plot hatched by the NDC. And you're going to see somebody in any way, shape, or form appearing to be sharing or furthering the allegation that the NDC is giving or is making, maybe starts being evidence of what they claim. I think that they should let the public know. But as far as I'm concerned, there is no evidence for that. And so we shouldn't get into the conversation of, furthering this doubt that the NDC is going to raise. If there's clear evidence, that it should be provided so that the conversation can be had openly as to why that is happening. But as far as I know, there is no such evidence.
You had the Director of Communications for the governing New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiagba, speaking there. Let's talk about issues relating to our crude oil production, because Ghana's crude oil production has seen a significant decline for the 4th consecutive year. At the annual average rate of 9.2%, whilst earnings fell from $1.43 billion in 2022 to $1.06 billion in 2023, representing a 25.65% decline. Let's go over the telephone line and speak to GH1 and Star News' Abdul Hanan Adam, who is at that PIAC report presentation. Hanan, what are the reasons for this decline per what PIAC has been saying?
Well, the PIAC has been finding out or has found out a lot of reasons why we are seeing such a decline over the last 4 years. And one of them has to do with the international pricing and also local issues. And the local issues is one that PIAC is highlighting that government should take keen interest in, while it is saying that quite a number of things, including auditing by the Ghana Revenue Authority, has not been done to actually recover surface rentals to some of these international corporations who are exploring oil in various fields. That's the four fields in the country. And it also says that efforts has to be made in ensuring that petroleum revenues are invested. And due to this lack of investment is the reason why we are seeing much of this decline, because by the explanation, if international prices are taking a slump, and if we are investing, it means that we're actually making a recovery. But if we're not investing and the international prices also dropping, it means that we lose on both sides. And that is what is accounting for this drop in the last 4 years. And again, it is saying that government should try as much as possible, including the regulatory authorities, to actually make enough investment in other unexploited fields. So it means that we have other unexploited fields that government will take keen interest in and bring up strategies to ensure that we drive maximum benefits from these unexploited fields. So these are some of the things that PIAC is saying, and it is also very keen on, the Jubilee Holdings Limited, which is a subsidiary of the GMPC, and other subsidiaries that are also not doing quite well in terms of the utilization of these monies or revenues that are coming from the petroleum revenue.
Right. Thank you very much, Abdul Hanan, bringing us up to speed with the latest report as presented by the Public Interest and Accountability Committee. PIAC will bring you details of that later on in our subsequent bulletins. This is still the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM. Let's talk about the Electoral Commission, because it has cautioned its temporary staff they deployed in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise not to countenance breach of its electoral laws following the registration of 17 applicants with fake Ghana card numbers in Pusiga. Now, according to the Commission, during the registration exercise on May 13, a data entry clerk observed suspicious Ghana card numbers on 17 registration forms, and upon investigation, the Commission discovered that the Ghana card numbers were fake. Now, the registration officers were arrested and have since been granted a police inquiry bail while the police continue with the investigation. Here are excerpts of a statement issued by the Electoral Commission.
The Commission has received a report from its Upper East Regional Director on an incident which took place during the ongoing voters registration exercise at the Pusiga District Registration Center on 13th May 2024. The Commission wishes to inform the general public on the said incident as follows. During the voters registration exercise on 13th May 2024, a data entry clerk observed suspicious Ghana card numbers on 17 registration forms. The data entry clerk notified the district electoral officer accordingly. Upon investigation, it was revealed that the Ghana card numbers were fake. It was further discovered that the registration officer was complicit because he did not physically inspect the Ghana card of individual applicants, but rather accepted the fake numbers from party agents who had accompanied the 17 applicants. The registration officer was dismissed. A report was made to the police and he was arrested. He has since been granted a police inquiry bail while the police continue with their investigations. The 17 applicants were subsequently registered through the grantor system. While the police continue with their investigations, the Commission would like to warn all its temporary officials it will not countenance the breach of its electoral laws. Any person found violating the laws of the Commission will be handed over to the police and permanently blacklisted by the commission.
You heard the excerpt of a statement issued by the Electoral Commission of Ghana in relation to the alleged registration of some 17 persons with fake Ghana card numbers. Let's go over the telephone line and speak to the Deputy Elections Officer of the NDC, Mahdi Jibril. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on the Starr Midday News.
Thank you.
That is a very swift action on the part of the Electoral Commission, is it not?
Oh, we will not say the swift action. It's the vigilance of the NDC that has brought this thing out. It is also the stand of the NDC that we keep saying that not a mere data, a mere document makes the work. Because you see, the Electoral Commission has always kept saying that once you have a Ghana card, it means that your registration is genuine, even genuine than the one who is doing Galanta system. But today, we have found out that somebody can use the Ghana card that they say is the best data, manipulate it to register more than 710 people in the system of the Electoral Commission. So if not because of NDC vigilance, would NDC, the ECC, because the Electoral Commission officer who was using it, okay? It's the Electoral Commissioner officer who was using it. So when we say Electoral Commission can manipulate election, then Bosma will come and say, no, they cannot manipulate election. But all of us have seen that Electoral Commissioner officer that they appointed, who has done what we are seeing today.
And so you're saying that this particular incident is as a result of the vigilance of the NDC in that particular area. I mean, generally, beyond this issue, what do you make of the handling of some of the issues that have come up on the side of the Electoral Commission as this exercise began?
I think the Electoral Commission, what they are not doing, even though they are responding to the issues, but in the beginning, they wanted to behave as if what the NDC is saying is not true. But they have come to the realization that the NDC is rather helping them to achieve. Because so far, you realize that other political parties, especially our major opponents, are not speaking as if they are okay with whatever is happening. Because whatever is happening affects our elections. But they're so quiet in this issue that as if they are happy with whatever is happening. So we will say that, yes, we have raised issue, Electoral Commission has come out to respond, to correct them. But I think it's also about time Electoral Commission should also at least acknowledge NDC in what is happening. Because whatever we are raising, assuming they were not right, the Electoral Commission would have come out to say the NDC has raised an alarm that was not true. But so far, we have come to help the Electoral Commission. But they have not mentioned NDC of our effort to helping them.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We're grateful for your time. You heard us speak to the Deputy Elections Officer of the NDC, Mahdi Jibril. There, you're still listening to the Starr Midday News on Starr 103.5 FM. Let's hit the campaign trail. This is the Election Hub here on Starr 103.5 FM. Let's find out where some of the leading contenders in the 2024 elections are at the moment and have been talking about and what they have been doing. The NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama, he's been meeting a couple of people, including the clergy. Well, the founder and presiding Archbishop of the Action Chapel International, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams, is cautioning politicians against taking Ghanaians for granted, especially in this 2024 year of election. Now, Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams was speaking at the meeting with the Christian Council and the NDC presidential candidate John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Mahama called on the clergy to speak against the lack of transparency leading to the upcoming elections. He's also promised to set a new standard in the fight against graft. Have a listen.
I make a firm promise to you, my Christian fathers, that the administration that I'll lead will set a new standard in the fight against corruption. We will fight the canker of corruption and defeat it. We'll retrieve stolen monies. And hold people in government accountable. But we're not going to pursue just regime accountability. The norm has been that it is only the past government that you hold accountable for any acts of corruption. But we will ensure that those in our government who are also indulged in corruption will be held accountable. And so we will not go witch hunting we won't go witch hunting the past government. If people have been involved in malfeasance, they must be held to account. And if people in our administration also follow the same path, they must also be held to account.
You had the former president and flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama. Well, in his address, the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams voiced concerns about what could befall Ghanaians should the country become unstable politically, citing precedents in the country's history.
And may I say this, that nobody should think that the Ghanaian is a very gentle, don't like trouble human being. It's not true, because I saw what happened 79 and 81, and they were Ghanaians. And some of the violence and the murderers and unrest in certain parts of this country, like what's going on in Boko and other places, they are all Ghanaians. And if we don't manage things well, and we have this mentality and thinking that any party can do whatever they want to do, and the Ghanaian will accept it, and the Ghanaian will live for it, you might be playing with fire, make no mistake. Because when people are desperate and are hungry, they don't care about what happens. And hungry and desperate people are very dangerous people to manage and to deal with.
You had the Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams when he was addressing the gathering when the NDC's flag bearer and former President John Dramani Mahama paid a courtesy call on the Christian Ecumenical Council earlier yesterday. Well, let's find out what the camp of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and flag bearer of the NPP, they have been up to as well. Well, the Vice President today will launch the Kaya Empowerment Program, an intervention to upskill head porters of Kaya and provide transitional jobs, job avenues, and improve socio-economic well-being of head porters. Definitely will monitor that and bring you up to speed with what exactly happens during that engagement. And that will be it for that will be it for the campaign trail. We found out what the camps of the NDC and the NPP they have been up to. Let's bring you the very latest in the world of sports. Jones Aji is here with the very latest. Good afternoon to you, Jones. What's in sports?
Good afternoon. So this evening, I must say the Black Starlets of Ghana are set to go head-to-head against Benin this evening at 4 p.m. at the University of Ghana Stadium after their impressive victory over the Ivorians, winning 5-1 in their first match of the tournament. Coach Laie Kingston has expressed that they are taking it one game at a time, acknowledging that the upcoming game will be challenging.
The boys want to keep 100% record, so they approach every game with all seriousness. The Benin game will not be anything different from other games that we've played. We're keeping 100% record. We're going to start the game well, and then whatever happens, we deal with it. I know it's going to be difficult. When we get it right for the first time, for the first half, first minute, I think it's good. If we have challenges, we'll manage to fight till we get control. So for me, I think it's going to be difficult. We're taking it a game at a time. Every coach is off our way. We're waiting for the Ghanaians tomorrow. We want Ghanaians to be perfect.
It's at 4 p.m. and there are no tickets. It is free for everyone. So let's get to the UG Stadium. Now, to boxing, Ghana's national boxing team, the Black Bombers, have arrived in Bangkok, Thailand for this month's Paris 2024 Boxing Olympic qualifier. The team consists of 5 men and a lady from the Black Hitters. So the competition scheduled for May 24th to 2nd June 2024 offers the last opportunity for Ghana's boxers to book places for the Summer Olympic Games. And finally, World Cup winner and 5 times Champions League winner Tony Cruz has announced that he will retire after this summer's European Championship. The 35-year-old Real Madrid midfielder, who is regarded as one of the best in the world, in a letter to Real Madrid fans, says that Real Madrid will be his last club and that the only thing on his mind is Madrid winning their 15th Champions League title. Cruz has played a total of 837 games and scored 87 goals. So on that note, that's how we end sports this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Jones Aji, with the very latest in the world of sports. And that'll be it for today's edition of the Star Midday News on Star 103.5 FM. For more news, do log on to starfm.com.gh. My name is Naa Dedei Tettey. Thank you so much for your company. Good afternoon.